the table, full house. I'm putting everything, my house, my shoes, my family, everything. Cause I'm unloading some meat. Yeah, I'm unloading some meat. I'm unloading some meat. Gotta unload the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm emptying the fridge tonight. Cause I am unloading the.
I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Unloading Meat. We are doing another webcam interview, and this time we got somebody coming all the way from Montreal, Quebec, right? Quebec in the house. We got the one, the only, Oli Page. What's up, Oli?
What's up, tabarnak? Esti, on est là, tabarnak. Callis, esti, Quebec represent. Bringing the French
Bless you.
the unloading meat. Yeah.
All I got to say to that is
French
Gesundheit. Like, I don't know. That's French, right? No.
Gesundheit.
That's German.
I have no idea.
That was an
Okay.
American joke.
Okay, that's why I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's also why you didn't get to the last guest I had. He's from America's Got Talent. He was on a show called America's Got Talent, so that's why you didn't recognize him.
Oh, okay. Is that the same show as Canada's Got Talent? It's
Yeah,
like
they
the
have
same
one.
concept.
They have one in every country. They just branded it. Like if you go, like it's international. You'll find that on YouTube. You'll see like Germany's Got Talent and England's Got Talent. Germany's Got Talent's a little bit different. I mean, probably a lot of white people.
And I feel like for every Got Talent that there is, you always kind of see what is popping for culture there.
Yeah.
It's like a good representation of what people want to see fast, quickly. So like every Got Talent that there is, it's so different. The one in America swears a lot. I think there's a lot of.
I think
and
there's
the
like
one in
Harry Cruz on it
Russia.
now too.
Yeah, and the one in Russia, it's like monkeys or something like that. It's
Yeah.
Well, that sounded bad, but
Well, I'm just saying, how much talent do you have in Russia if you can't show off any gay people? I mean, it's just gonna be like, oh, I hope you like clogging. Fuck you, Russia.
if you don't have any gay people, like how are you supposed to have talent? That's all where the talent is.
It's just gonna be a bunch of people doing like, I don't know, Yakov Smirnoff impressions. You don't even get that reference.
I didn't get that. I only got the one that was pro pride.
Okay.
It's great. It's great. It's a great joke, man. It's a great joke. You're fucking hilarious. I'm
Thank
glad
you,
to
buddy.
Be here, by the way, Unloading Meat is.
Yeah, man.
I
mean,
I think you have a great frame of work. I like your ethics. I like what you do.
Thank you,
Good
man.
job.
I really appreciate it, man. And we really touched base. I think during I think it was called RampSgiving. It was in November. RampJam
in the and I forgot everybody's name there. So sorry about that. I forgot everyone, but I don't forget faces. I know who they are. If I see them again and talk to them again, it'll be great. But what a ride, RampJam. What a ride. I was in Tulsa just for work. And every time I travel for work, I bring my music gear. I bring my improv stuff.
It's fun. It's great. We're having fun. It's fun. It's great. We're having fun.
And that's what I did in Tulsa. I just found some open mics. I found you guys. I found
Yeah.
your gang of social comedians that stick together and hang out and do those things. And you guys got a good energy, a good intimacy, a good synergy, a good support system. So that
Well, man, you
everybody
bonded
feels
right away
welcome.
with us. I mean, I was going back and looking through your Facebook and stuff like that, and like seeing your clips of like just random open mics in Tulsa where you're just going up there and improvising with your board and everything. It's freaking genius, man. Like you have some great ingenuity about yourself and great timing.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm very flattered. It's an honor whenever a comedian says I'm funny. It's like, ooh, I don't deserve that.
Well, I mean,
I'm not part of the gang.
There's a phrase that we say all the time, like it's an American phrase, like real recognizes real, or game recognizes game kind of thing. Like you can see somebody who's putting in the talent and the effort, and it doesn't matter what platform, doesn't matter what genre or whatever you consider yourself as. If you're putting in talent and work and you're getting the crowd amped and getting them popular, Who cares what you're saying or what you're doing? You're doing something extraordinary. You're doing something cool. You're doing something that's, moving people. So it doesn't matter if it's a joke or if it's, you dropping a beat or if it's, just just improvising something. It's entertainment.
It's entertainment. It's very close to clown. It's very close to being a clown. I feel it's a lot of faces, very physical, very just off the top of my head humor. I could fall off the stage and it would be the same thing. I feel. And the same amount of work.
Well, one thing I noticed with you specifically, and it's something that's just kind of stuck with me, is a lot of comedians, if you go to like a workshop or something like that, they'll tell you that you need to commit. You have to commit to the gimmick. You have to commit to the whatever the joke is. Just go commit 100%, and it's funnier. If the audience sees that you're fully invested in it and you're making it like it's like a real thing, then it's going to pay off. And I see that with your music. Like I was watching clips, like the one that caught my eye that was the funniest one in my opinion was the one with the I can't remember her name, but she was a lesbian.
Anyone right now scream a word. Lesbian. Oh, we're going with lesbians. I'm going downtown, I'm meeting Sharon. I'm going downtown, gotta go meet Sharon. I'm gonna go downtown, meet Sharon. Sharon is what? Sharon is a lesbian. Sharon is a lesbian. Sharon is what? Sharon is what? Sharon is a lesbian. Sharon is.
I love that one.
That one was freaking hilarious.
That one. Okay. But I was really afraid that it was going to get off context and that it would blow up, but badly in my face. But it kind of went okay. And the show was in front of a queer crowd. It was very queer. It was a very assumed queer. And it was just a bunch of people just making music, very intimate, very folky, very, this is my soul, this is my suffering, and I'm throwing it at you. And then I had to fit in that. And as you know, I don't. So I just tried something where I could relate with that crowd. And I told them, give me any word. And everybody was screaming anything like, and then one girl said, lesbians. I said, of course. That's the word I'm taking. And I made a song with that, but it's but I love that song. Honestly, I think it went well. It was one of the ones that I'm the most proud of, as dumb as it is, because it sounded good. It was in the moment, and it was a 2-minute efficiency, and boom. I think it went.
It worked. I mean, like going back to relate, you hit the word on the head or nail on the head for another phrase, relatability, or you related to them.
And it could have gone really wrong. It could have gone so wrong because they throw me this word and I'm not a part of what it is. So I was kind of handed something, a hot potato. My expression. Another phrase. And it could have gone wrong, but everybody in the
we don't see gender
smiles.
with our potatoes. It's not Mr. or Mrs. Potato anymore. It's just hot potato.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, just hot potato. All of the genre potatoes are all hot. Okay. Well, I was feeling like very hot at that moment, and it went well. I think. Thank you for saying this. I feel like the latest song that I do is always the one I like the most, but this one is like one of the good ones. I'm really happy of the. Thanks for checking it out.
I mean, even like I remember back at Rampsgiving or RampJam, whenever you were doing improv about the axe throwing trailer we had.
Oh yeah.
And you were just doing a song about axes. I'm gonna go throw axes. Like it was great, man. It worked. And it's like, man, with comedians, like we have a lot of tendencies to go towards dark material or going for shock material, whatever's gonna be the thing that's gonna get the most clicks or whatever's going to be the most shocking thing. And a lot of comedians and higher up comedians will tell you it's not about saying the most darkest worst thing. It's about being able to pull the magic trick off and get away with it. And you have to make it relatable, you have to make it funny, and then people can take that taboo or dark humor or take something that's a little bit more risque. But you have to do the groundwork and do a lot more work. And that's coming from my point of view of I hate open mics, or I hate places that are like, oh, well, you can't say this here, or you can't roast here. I hate that kind of stuff because it kind of, in my opinion, makes me feel like you're taking the audience for granted, or you're making them feel like they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like you don't assume the audience is not going to be able to get something. Like
you decide for them.
Yeah.
When you do that. They should be able to decide. And
but I also believe
that decision is good.
But if you are going to go that risque material, or if you're going to do something that's a little bit more taboo, you just got to know that there's going to be higher risk there. But if you pull it off, you pull it off.
Yeah.
But you got to let people do it. And so, like, yeah, you went with the lesbian line, and it worked.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just like making a song about lesbians, about a lesbian as a straight white male dude.
Yeah.
And,
but at the same time, immediately upon your first lyric, I mean, I can put it in post if people want to see it, but like, you did not have any hate, you didn't have any malice with it or anything like that. It was a fun, jovial time, and people could tell that you weren't meaning anything bad or derogatory. So immediately they were like, okay, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, people can tell that most of the time. 90%, 95% of the time, I think a crowd can usually tell if you're being malicious or hate-filled.
Yeah, probably. And yeah, I just hope that I can keep getting away with it. I just hope that, because it's so much fun, man. It's so much fun when the crowd hands me trust.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun when they trust you and they say, okay, we'll go along. Because my thing is weird. What I do is weird, and I get it. I'm not necessarily for everybody, not in the subject that I do, but just in the matter of what I do.
Yeah.
So whenever they trust me and they go along with what I do and dance to it and sing to it and scream with it, it's such a relief because it's so weird. It shouldn't happen. It's a charade. It's a masquerade. I'm a complete fraud, but they still go with it. And
I think it's the accent, man. The accent just makes you sound like you're more important. I mean, well, you want to give them a taste a little bit of what we're talking about?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's unload that meat.
Ooh.
Wait. Am I peeking here? Yeah, I'm kind of peeking, huh?
What do you need from me?
Oh, well, whatever you can give me.
Oh. Consensually? Okay. I mean.
Yeah, okay. Let me start something and let's go from there.
Wave that lighter in the air, put your hands in the air, put the lighter in the air, put your phone in the air, put the lighters in the air, put everything in the air. You know we're putting in the air, our hands are putting everything in the air. And then on the table, we put everything on the table. Full house, I'm putting everything, my house, my shoes, my family, everything. Cause I'm unloading some meat, yeah, I'm unloading some meat. I'm unloading some meat, gotta unload the meat. I'm unloading the meat, I'm unloading the meat, I'm unloading the meat. I'm emptying the fridge tonight, cause I am unloading the
What's up, Matt?
Hey, can you help me out? I really gotta do something real quick.
What's that?
I really gotta. There's some meat in my fridge and it's gonna go sour. It's gonna go bad. So I really gotta get it out.
All right, let's do it. Let's unload that meat. Unload that meat. Let's get that fridge empty because we gotta unload the meat from it. It's gonna go bad. The ribs, the steak, the pigs, the beef, everything needs to unload because we love that meat. We wanna keep the meat and we wanna keep the meat and eat the meat. Oh, we wanna eat that meat. We wanna eat it, so let's make sure it doesn't go bad before we eat it. Yeah, oh, yeah, unloading the yeah, oh, unloading the yeah, oh, unloading the
Steve, but really I'm in love with you. I was just giving you a reason to come with me to the fridge so we could make out in front of the fridge because I'm in love with you. Oh, Matt and Steve are in love. That's why we unloading the meat in front of the fridge. And then they made kids.
Okay, I'm back. Wait.
That was so good.
Okay.
That was
that
so
back.
good. I hope you like my wardrobe changes during it.
Yeah,
That was great. I got it. We got an unloading meat jam.
Yeah, exactly. That was necessary. I really thought I was gonna go hard and that really more aggressive, but I went into the puppy side, and it's yeah, it went okay. I've been doing this for like several podcasts now, but I think this one was pretty good.
Thanks, man. This was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
How long you been doing the music like this?
Like this, it's been a while now. It's been 5-6 years, 6 years maybe. I was in a rock band before, just like every angst teenager that was in my neighborhood, and I eventually dropped out of the band when we were opening for an artist that I really enjoyed called Montreal. He's a Quebec famous artist, and he's really good. He's really, really, really awesome. And my drummer went to the hospital the day before. He had to go. He had something to the head, and he couldn't leave the hospital the day after.
Oh, wow.
So technically, we had to cancel. But there was no way for me that I was going to cancel that gig. It's too important. Was too important. So what I decided to do is bring my looper, the cheaper version of this device, and that I had been playing with for 3 months only, and that I had built all our band songs with. So I was able to play them like acoustically with this and with a beat and everything. And I tried that. And mon oncle Serge at the end of the show came to me and he said, well, I'm going to say it in French, because that's the way he told me. He said, toi tout seul, t'es vraiment bon.
Parlez-vous le français? Parlez-vous le français?
No.
Which means you alone, you were really good. So I kind of took the message. I kind of took the message that, okay, now I need to do this because this is going well. This is good. And it's a product that it's something, it's an art form that people can enjoy and will want me to do. Whether a rock band of teenagers is something that I never felt wanted. I never felt wanted anywhere that I was playing. So I had to find so many marketing strategies to be able to play anywhere.
Yeah.
But with this, I'm like doing every possible gig there is. I get invited to weddings as much as I get invited to raves.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do comedy open mics. So I'm pretty much doing this all the time now. So
I mean, that's the dream though, right? I mean,
it's the goal. Yeah.
When I first saw you, that was my first connection, from comedy world. I'm like, Reggie Watts, what he does musically is so insane. His TED Talks are great.
Yeah, his TED Talks are great.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, right? It's so it's so versatile. This setup, this thing is so versatile that you can even do it in a TED talk.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
because again, it's like and this is just my testament to you, is like, yes, it's an electronic instrument, but it's a tool, and you're using it in a variety of ways to get your point across or get your artistic vision across, and that is respected. You know what I mean? Like, if you're putting in the work and if you're doing something that's honestly entertaining, it's gonna be respected. And usually, I just want to say props.
Well, thank you, but I'm just so glad that I got to. I don't think I'm there yet, where it's like so well rounded, so well done that it's gonna be on a shelf somewhere in a Walmart, and metaphorically. But I'm really glad to have reached a point where I feel like it's almost it fulfills a need, and
Yeah.
it really makes me happy as an artist to be useful.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm sure I mean, you're gonna speak on this more because you musician wise, but like that machine that you have beside you, that's kind of like a fancy way of doing a round, right? Like singing a round.
A round? What do you mean?
So like I maybe that's an Americanized way of saying it, but singing in a round where you're singing the same beat over and over again, a rounding
Yeah,
machine or a
yeah, it's a looper. So
looper. Yeah.
loops. Yeah, so yeah, rounding, looping, and
Because I remember seeing like Jimmy Fallon had the lead singer of Led Zeppelin on once, and he just pulled out a looper app and was just teaching him how technology can work like that.
So I'm going to start this thing here, and this thing goes around. And then when it comes, the orange thing's going to come around. I'll start it off. I'll do the bass. What's the...
You think you can take these on the road?
Do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball.
So it's looping, yeah, that's looping. Is that on key? So and then you do the harmony of that when it comes around. Hold on, ready? So it's coming around. When this orange guy hits here, you do the harmony with that.
Do curveball, 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 do curveball.
I'm trying to think of the note. I will get it. Yeah.
Do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball, do curveball,
I walk through this world, nothing can stop you, girl. You will be my girl. It's a paradise. I know. Yes, I know I'm gonna love you. No, there's nothing can stop me now. 'Cause I'm the Duke of
do curveball, do curveball.
You're 1,000 miles away.
Better down,
And it was just fascinating having the lead singer of Led Zeppelin singing on a looping app on an iPad. Like it's kind of neat, like, seeing people like use technology in that way inventively.
Yeah, you're right. They don't even Robert Plant, classic rock singer, classic rock legend, will be amazed by such a thing.
And it's just entertaining. You can see it in his eye where he's just like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like it was like Jimmy Fallon taught Robert Plant a new thing.
Imagine having Robert Plant do a gig like Reggie Watts' gigs, Then he just starts. That's his retirement gig. That's what he does. But he could. It's not that complicated.
Yeah. I mean, so how does it work as far as like your brain or your method to working on it? Are you like So, like, say somebody gives you like the word like lesbians we brought up before, or unloading meat. Is that where you start generating basically the hook so much of it, and then you start just working around from that, or just like how does that work?
Yeah, it's interesting to have to answer that from a comic perspective.
Yeah.
Because that's the part I think I've had the most struggle with, because the technical part and all that, it's been very clear for me what to do and all that, and fluent. But comedy wise, hook wise, also it was a complete mystery for me. So I just started doing finding one angle and working on that angle as much as I can.
Yeah.
So for instance, let's take a random subject. Let's take food, and then I just imagine a couple starting to fight in a kitchen, and turns out it's a cooking show. And then that's when I try to think of that as I'm building the beat, and so that when I arrive at the beat, I have something to start with, to start making some sort of a conversation with myself. And if I don't, because most of the time I reach the point of the beat and I'm like, oh, I haven't found anything yet. I just start messing around, talking to myself, and then it just appears magically in front of me, and I go with it. And it's kind of a long process. That's why I'm very appreciative of whoever is listening. It's not a TikTok type song. It's very long. It's a long process, and it's eventually it pays off, because you're like, oh, we made it. You kind of feel like you're part of the thing where, oh shit, he took a risk, and he did it. Oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever seen. It kind of feels like that for me when I watch like Reggie Watts. And I watch him do his thing. I'm like, oh shit, he found a way. He found a way to make it work. Or like any improv show that any comedian, sometimes I've seen improv shows of amateurs, and I feel like it's the best comedy I've ever seen, because I was part of it, and it was risky, and they actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, I'm so lucky to be here to witness this.
Well, I think there's something about the human brain where we love layers. We love starting out small and watching something build. Like, I mean, some of my favorite songs of all time are songs that like start out small. Like, I don't know, Flashing Lights by Kanye West, where it starts out where it's like small, and then every 5 to 10 seconds, there's another layer added, and another layer added, and another layer added, and another layer added. And by the time you get to the end of the song, you're like, this is a masterpiece of like a beat. Yeah. And like I think something about our human brains, we love that. We crave that. And so like when we see you like something like you're building something live, it's fascinating to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it pulls us in.
I kind of accuse the fact that we like understanding makes you understand the song.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know what the bass was, I know what the kick was, I know what the snare was, and it deconstructs music and makes it appear in front of you. So it puts it shines on the art of the building, and I think we really love building. We really love constructing, advancing, going forward. So
the only
coming from it,
the only thing like in film or TV wise that I've ever seen really capture like creativity or like ingenuity kind of stuff like that, and like what we're talking about, is there's the show on Hulu that's based on the Wu-Tang Clan. And it's made by the actual people. It's actually made by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Really?
And the final season, or like I think it's season 2, it goes through RZA actually producing a song. Basically puts him in a sound studio, and it shows like him in his mind visualizing like 60s and 70s different like vinyls he's putting on a record player, and he's picking out individual musicians as he's talking to them, and he's making the beat and slowing them down, and they're using it in real time, showing you actors like personifying those beats and everything, and playing the bass guitar, playing the drums.
I can dig that.
It's feeling kinda thin. get you on that snare. Lean into it. Yeah. And yo, what's your name?
Alex.
Let me get that shit more frantic.
Frantic?
Are you on the left? Let me get that
No, you can't. You can get it like this.
From those old records. And it's hard to like actually describe, but I highly recommend you watch it. I'll put it in post so people can watch it in this episode. But it's the first time I ever saw. I was like, I can kind of see him understanding how a beat works, how he found different layers, how he found different things and put them together. And they visually tell you that in a like a 5-minute little scene, and it's really cool.
Wow.
And I've never seen anybody really do that in film or TV. Kind of, you know, how an artist's brain kind of works, or how they see something differently and can pull different things apart.
Yeah, and it's always very I don't get into that as much as I used to, the how the artist brain works and how the creative brain works. I kind of got lost into it. I think there's a lot of subjectivity.
Yeah, it is.
It's very upsetting for a pragmatic mind like me. Very upsetting. It's like, tell me the truth.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And that thing, I would love to see that. I love YouTube videos or whatever.
After this, I'm gonna send you the clip. You're gonna be blown away because, like I said, like, you know, I'm not the I want to say I'm a musician, but like I love to sing. I love to, like, you know, I've written and worked on my theme songs and stuff like that for my shows, but nothing like, you know, putting out professional music or anything like that. But I do feel like I'm musically inclined, and that was the first thing where I've ever seen, like I said, a movie or a TV show really kind of nail that feeling of creativity, of outside the box thinking and just pulling things together. So yeah, I'll send you that clip, and you're gonna be like, "Whoa, this is freaking cool."
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's really neat.
I need that for my morning routine. My morning routine now, whenever I get a break, whenever I have free time, it's waking up, get some sun, and after that, I eat breakfast while watching one of these creative videos, so that it gets my brain into a good creative mood of going somewhere and wanting to do something. And that's one of those. I think it's it.
I'll send it to you, man.
Thank you.
My morning routine now is I just rescued a dog from the pound or the SPCA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I rescued her this weekend for my birthday, and I've been walking her every morning at 6:30, and then, you know, we do multiple walks. So it's my weight loss routine now,
nice.
having the dog help me lose weight, and, you know, she's been a good companion and stuff like that. So it's just been a good thing I've been doing lately.
So many people have you mentioned the weight loss. It's so many people told me that they stay in shape thanks to their dogs.
Yeah,
thanks to their dogs, because it makes them go outside. So vitamin D, exercise, cardio. Also routine, you know, you have to do it. You can't just sit there. You have to do it, or else the dog's what's gonna happen to the dog? Who knows? What happens to the dog that doesn't walk?
That could be a song, man. What happens to the dog? What happens to the dog? There you go. I just gave you a hit.
Oh, thank you. I realized that some people, like, I've had these interactions lately of going. I go to the park. There's an open mic in the park in Montreal. By the way, if you come to Montreal, go in the parks. That's the thing to do. Okay,
it's on my bucket list. It's on my list. I've loved, like, I'm a professional wrestling fan, so I have a notice of, or I have a knowledge of, like, certain wrestlers are from, like, Winnipeg or Montreal, or, you know, like that. It's like I have an appreciation of a lot of Canadian wrestlers. So, like, wrestling kind of taught Americans a lot about the provinces that we wouldn't have gotten in our schools.
Okay. Let's talk about that we'll talk about that in a second. No, actually, let's talk about that round. Do you know the Mountie? The King, Jean-Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah.
Jean-Jacques Rougeau, the wrestler, man. Today he has a podcast in his camping lot, and he invites, like, famous actors from Quebec that have no business there, and he talks to them about their career. And he has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea. He has no
That
idea.
sounds like the Mountie. That sounds like him. Like,
he invited Marc Labrèche, famous Quebec actor, and who knows why Marc Labrèche accepted. And he goes and gets Marc Labrèche on his spider, disguised as the Mountie, on the spider inside the camping. Marc Labrèche gets on board behind it. He has a GoPro in 360 that films the whole thing, and he goes around the camping and says, "It's Marc Labrèche! It's Marc Labrèche! Look!" And people don't give a shit. It's like, okay, and he goes on his podcast, and he has like these actors where he talks about their career, and he doesn't say their name right. He calls them Robert when it's Mark, and it's this guy, and then at every episode he has to do a wrestling thing, a wrestling like skill. The guest. But these guests are like sometimes 70 years old. And 70, 60 years old. And they're like, "Why? I'm an opera singer. I can't do like the thing." And it's like, "Oh no, there's a 1 meter square mattress. You're gonna be fine. All right, let's have Monster come in." And he has his guest wrestler, and he's like, "We're gonna count his fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6." And like, "Oh shit, he has 6 fingers." And let's go. For me, it's like one of my latest discoveries, so I'm very enthusiastic about it. It's like
I can tell, man. Can I just say, talking to a Canadian, I'm so happy that you don't have the head like South Park.
Oh yeah,
half. Like, I'm so happy you don't have the flappy head thing.
Yeah, no, you're relieved that I'm in more than 8 pixels.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, let me just be right back. I'll go get my craft dinner.
I mean, you're not near the poutine capital, right?
I'm near enough. Yeah,
you're near enough.
Is Drummondville or Victoriaville. One of these 2 cities are disputing which city had made the first poutine.
Ooh.
And I'm like an hour and a half from it if I want to get the greatest poutine in the world.
So we can actually bond over this because I'm from a city in Oklahoma called Bartlesville. And Bartlesville is a suburb of Tulsa. And they have a famous steakhouse here called Murphy's. And Murphy's is famous for one dish. And it actually is a staple dish since like the 1920s. Okay. It's called the hot hamburger. And when I tell you what it is, you're going to see the distinction of why it's kind of like a poutine.
Okay.
It's an open face burger. And then they top it with fries, cheese, and gravy.
What kind of cheese?
I believe right now it's like shredded or American. They don't have that. They wouldn't have the curds.
No, for sure. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, it's a hamburger poutine.
Yeah, it's a hamburger poutine. It's an open face hamburger with a poutine on top of it. And
I don't think I've ever
famous
seen
thing in my city. Like, people will come from like miles around to taste this thing. And because they make their own signature steak beef gravy. And I know you guys use like what, a turkey or a chicken gravy usually? Or what is on
the turkey gravy or chicken gravy? I never know. But
I'm a fat guy, so I'm gonna know this.
Man, it's okay. That's a lot. That I think that will work here.
Yeah. So like next time you're down here, I'm gonna have to have you try that, and we're gonna film it. We're gonna have you from quote unquote poutine land trying an Oklahoma poutine on a burger, because of course Americans had to put a poutine on a burger.
Oh man, it's the last poutine I've had in the States. I just started swearing in French.
We covered poutine, but how do you feel about Tim Hortons?
Tim. So as you know, Burger King bought Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah.
So that's like one of the things that we're like, we still have the scars, in our body. We're trying to stitch them with our social healthcare system.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're getting covered. I mean,
yeah, at least we're getting free stitches, but they still hurt. They won't heal. They won't heal. So Tim Hortons, let's talk about that. So Tim Hortons used to be good. Okay, it used to be like the thing. Like Dunkin' Donuts, we don't want that. Like it's over. We're not touching that.
Yeah.
And Tim Hortons was still the thing, and it had the Timbits and all that. But man, they don't have good coffee anymore. It's supposed to be the coffee fast food, and the coffee is bad.
See, and I'm the kind of guy that like I don't like coffee. I something about me, like I'll go to Starbucks. I can't even taste like coffee flavor, like candies and stuff are disgusting to me. There's something about that bitter taste I can't handle. I don't know what it is. I like frappuccinos, nothing. There's been I go into Starbucks and I'm like, what do you have that's not coffee? And they're like, we have like one thing. It's a refresher. Like I'm that guy. I'll get a hot chocolate at Starbucks. Okay. Like it's like coffee never really did it for me for like Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons, but I went to New York years ago and there was a Tim Hortons up there. And I was like, okay, I gotta try it. And yeah, the donuts, amazing. Great. They were good. But I didn't get to try the coffee because like I said, I'm not a coffee guy.
Yeah, no, but you didn't have to. Like, if you had FOMO and you were trying to get rid of it through me, here you go. I can do this for you. You didn't miss anything. The coffee at McDonald's is better. Like that, it's that low. And there's a thing also. They say, oh, but we write the hour that it was made on the pot. You know, the employees are paid minimum wage. They're not gonna redo the pot. They're gonna scratch the time and put the new time. That's what they're gonna do. They don't give a shit about your CEO. They don't give a shit about Tim Hortons.
Yeah. I mean, my experience the one time I went was like basically like this was kind of like White Castle to me. Like where I was like, it was okay, but the hype was kind of way higher. Where like I go to White.
Okay, there is.
Yeah. There's hype. Like because from the American side, people are like, we hear about Tim Hortons as like Canadians love Tim Hortons or they love, you know, it's one of those things. So like whenever I saw one, I was like, okay, I gotta try this out. It's Tim Hortons. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's good. But it's not like, oh my God, I have to go to a Tim Hortons every time I see one.
Yeah, exactly. It's my new favorite thing. I'm moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, there are better reasons to move to Canada than Tim Hortons.
I'm just waiting for Canada to have a similar thing. Cause like back in the day, we had Harold and Kumar go to White Castle in the American movie. Like, you know, we had 3 of those damn movies.
Well, yeah. And I love them. And that's why I went to White Castle when I was in St. Louis. Yeah. I was like,
that was the first one I had. I went to a St. Louis White Castle.
Okay. Well, do I have a story for you? One of my first work trips in the States. And every time I went to the States, everybody told me, hey, really be careful out there. It's dangerous. It's not like here. Okay. And I'm like, I don't feel in danger. I never feel in danger. In 2021, I went to St. Louis and I didn't know how high the crime rate was. So I just started walking at midnight to go to my hotel just because I didn't want to pay the Uber.
As one is to do. Yeah.
And yes, exactly. And then I come by White Castle and I'm like, oh, Harold and Kumar, man, I have to go. And then I go and I'm on foot and it's the drive-in only open. So I'm in between cars with neons under them and I'm just waiting on foot at the drive-in. And a bunch of people are listening to music in the parking lot. Some guy pulls over next to me, starts making these prostitute jokes to me next to his girl that's on her phone. And it's bad. It's bad. And I just go with it. I'm like, oh yeah, prostitute jokes. And
you're just like, this is what White Castle is.
Yeah, this is a ride that I do not control. And I'm just gonna wait until like the Muppets stop singing It's a Small World, you know.
You're a polite Canadian.
Yeah. And and the guy starts making these very, very aggressive jokes, and I just go with it because I don't want him to hurt me. But I never found them funny. I just go with it because I'm like, I have to be loose or else something's gonna happen. Some lady behind me honks and says, "Get in," and I get in the car. It's a 50-year-old lady. What the fuck? And she says, first of all, you can't hang out at night like this with those fancy headphones. You're gonna get beat up. And theft, you're gonna be
burglarized or robbed.
You're gonna get robbed. Thank you. You're gonna get robbed, and also you can't order on foot at the White Castle. So you're gonna order through my car, then you're gonna eat your food under a lamppost, and then you're gonna run home. And I did. It's something silly I did. I didn't realize I was putting myself in danger. But every time I tell that story to my family, they're like, "We told you." And,
the mystical place of White Castle in St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. Did you go to? Is there like one in St. Louis?
I think there's one. I don't know if there's multiple. I worked for AT&T, a cell phone company back in the day, and they sent me on a training to St. Louis, and I was like, okay, there's a White Castle, I got to try it. And I was like, okay, it's kind of like the Tin Bits or the Tim Hortons, or I was like, it's okay. It's not like amazing, but it's like, okay, I checked it off. I had White Castle.
I had a sweaty slider. Thank you.
The more disturbing thing in St. Louis is I found a what's it called? A segregated Red Lobster. Segregation meaning they separated the races.
And it's still like that.
I don't know if it's still like that. This was like 2012, 2013. It was the St. Louis Red Lobster right next to the airport. And me and another colleague went there like 3 times because we went to training like over multiple weekends, like once a month. And each time we were like, okay, there's a Red Lobster by the airport. We'll eat there before we go to the airport. So that was kind of like our meeting place. And the first time we went there, it was me and another white girl. And we never had a problem. And we were seated, had a great time. The last time we went with one black coworker. And you would have thought it was like World War III, or they didn't know what the hell to do with us because they didn't know how to split us up. And then it became very apparent that when you walk in, the bar area of the Red Lobster was where all the black people sat and had black staff. And the sunroom in the back was where all the white people sat and had a white staff. And we're sitting down finally we're sitting in the bar and we're like, something's up. Like they're treating us weird. And it was the most awkward meal we've ever had. And at the end of the day, we were both all like, well, at least the food tasted great because it was made by Mexicans. Like
in the end, did you guys sit together?
Yeah, we sat together at the bar. Like me, the other white girl, and the one black girl sat at the bar, the 3 of us. And we were like the 2 white people at the bar area.
So that's like in the circle of the segregation where they meet, like the bar is in the middle and you were the 3 seats. Okay, that's where it's okay.
It was the weirdest experience I've ever had in a restaurant. And I was like, this still exists? It was like, it wasn't like a thing where it was on the rule where it was like, you know, black sit here, white sit here. It was just more like, they're going to naturally seat you like this. And like, you're not supposed to really pay attention to it. You know, it was like an unspoken thing. But I was just like, how is this a thing still in 2012?
How do you call again the trails behind the planes? You
know? The slipstream?
The slipstreams. I think there's just too much over St. Louis, you know, and they trapped the whole city in 1975. Yeah. And it just landed on that Red Lobster. Which is the one next to the airport. Hey, yeah. So yeah, there's something that happened. Yeah. What purpose would you want that today? You know, for what?
I don't know.
You want to prevent fights? You want to prevent? Yeah.
I don't know, but it was this weird thing that there was segregation. I'll never forget the segregated Red Lobster.
Yeah, no, I said, never forget.
Like I said, the food was incredible because it was made by the Mexicans in the back.
Which also, yeah.
That ends racism, okay?
Yeah. It's oh man, that's terrible.
Oh, they're driving the poop vehicle.
What's up with 90s movies and they always have to have iconic shitty vehicles or vans like Dumb and Dumber?
I guess there were just plenty of them.
Plenty of Dukes of Hazzard vans back in the day.
Yeah. What if Hollywood actually has a name for that rust color paint?
Racism?
It's like Jimmy King said, this is America. I can be anyone I want.
Give me a shade more racist. It's like we were watching I have another show I do now called Tulsa Comics React, where we just sit down, we watch movies and TV, and I just kind of do a react channel to them.
You're gonna make great money, dude.
I try to make.
Yeah, you're gonna make great money with that. It's honestly, like that's the thing to make money with.
What I'm trying to do is like I have UnloadingMeat going, and it's a weekly podcast. You're gonna be like episode 80 in a year. So thank you for coming on, man. But like I've been really working hard to make sure that this is a place to like spotlight people coming through Tulsa or people that live through Tulsa. You know, anybody that comes through the Tulsa area, I want to talk to. Mm-hmm. And so with Tulsa Comics React, it was like, okay, I need another show that's kind of spotlight Tulsa comedians. That's not just, hey, let me produce and show your comedy routine on YouTube. Because a lot of people don't want to like just have their stuff up on YouTube because it gives away their act.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can I do that's showcasing Tulsa entertainers that's not just putting up their act on YouTube? So it's like, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's do Tulsa Comics React. Let's do, I film roast battles every couple months, and I film them, produce them, and put them up. And I'm just trying to show different ways of spotlighting the talent in this area because there's really not that here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's not people that are actually doing what I'm doing.
Exactly. You feel the need to put in value and spotlight on your regional comic scene.
Yeah, I
It's,
mean, and not just comic, but like entertainers, singers, songwriters. I had a pro wrestler on here 2 weeks ago.
yeah, yes.
Sam Stackhouse. Shout out, dude, champ. He's doing good. Uh, but dude, if anybody's entertaining or if anybody is just putting in the work, I want to talk to them. I want to have a good chat. Because like to me, you're a peer. You're a true peer. You're somebody I can like look at and appreciate and say, like, hey, he's putting in the work. He's doing the effort. And look at the response he's getting. Like, that's somebody to inspire to be like, you know what I mean? That's you. So like, you inspire me, man. Everybody is a different peer. Everybody's a different inspiration. I just want to take from that and I want to kind of rack their brain.
Yeah, I love that you do that. That you took the initiative to do it in your county, in your region, and where you live, because you think globally and you act locally that way, and it's going to make a difference. Like abroad, truth. Proof is me. You know, I'm in Canada right now.
Yeah,
it's like it's you've grown, you've expanded in a way.
Well, like you're joining a good list. In 3 weeks, I have mostly built this studio in house, and I have an actual full production studio in my house where I can do a 3-piece camera podcast. But there's times where it's dope. I love it. But subscribe now. But there's times where like this, where like you're in Montreal. And I want to be able to do webcam interviews and have this interface to where there's no loss in quality. It's still a great, good interaction. And it's just like, I'm going to have different people that kind of inspire me on the podcast. Why not? It's not just about comedy.
And if it inspired you in a way, if it resonated naturally, instinctively with you, it means that there is truth to it and that it will resonate with someone else. Like you said earlier, for different things. And it's cool that you do that. I kind of miss podcasting. I've done a lot. I've been a guest recently on many podcasts and I'm grateful for that, but I kind of miss hosting it. It's really cool to host your own podcast. It's a good therapy. Honestly, I felt a lot better after starting my own, and I really want to get back to it using this room. This is going to be my place. I'm going to start filming. This is actually kind of a testing ground. I have this lighting. I think it's pretty
soundproofing. I see the soundproofing on the walls and stuff like that.
Looks like exactly. It's a great room. So I'm gonna start getting some people here and start doing what I do with me. And it's gonna be random. It's gonna be dumb. It's gonna be also like kind of an interview where we stop making music and we talk, and then we have coffee, and then we start doing music again. I want to get into a performative podcast form. Where you kind of listen to something that's just the creative underground, the creative process taking form instead of just talking about it. And then proving, you talk and then you prove it by doing it. So you're not a fraud. And, it's because I think it could really have some value in that form, because I do miss talking. I do miss doing my podcast, but what was missing in that podcast is putting in value what we do, and as musicians, and what we do is actually making music. So they're not necessarily, all the musicians are not necessarily comfortable about talking about everything, not having exhausting conversation about their process, but doing it is where they feel the best. So it can
not only that, but it can be exhausting having to explain it all. Like it's mentally draining.
They don't necessarily want to, but give them the opportunity to actually do it and be filmed and gaining from it. It's a constructive thing. It's going to help your career. It's going to help your whatever you want to do. So I'd rather give that to them than just talking anymore, because I don't think that all musicians are great at that or want to do that.
You can even see the same, like, you see a lead singer from a band and you could tell that they're not really the greatest front man because they're just stationary, not really putting on a performance, but they're just, doing a great musical act. Whereas somebody like, like a David Lee Roth or a Steven Tyler or somebody like that is bouncing off the walls, and like doing a really theatrical performance because they're a showman on top of it. Freddie Mercury,
But Freddie Mercury was one of those where he didn't want to talk to journalists. He didn't want to have interviews. He said to interviewers, like, I don't want to talk to you. I only do this because it's part of my job. And then he starts poking and answers half of the questions.
Well, like I just said earlier, like, I think honestly, creatives or just creativity in general, when you have a creative job, it's not going to be, I don't say respected as much as like a hard labor job, but like people forget sometimes that like it's mentally taxing. Like, you know, the creativity or just, you know, even like having to break down how you do something. After a while, you're just like, I'm exhausted. Like, I've done this, I've sit here and explained it for 3 hours. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like, it's mentally exhausting. It's mentally taxing. It still takes a toll.
Yeah.
Even if you're not swinging a hammer or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, it's exhausting, and it can also break the mystic of it. It can you want to keep it. I was when I was just in a band and just building songs. People were asking me how I wrote music, and I didn't want to answer. I was like, either because I didn't respect the people who were asking me, and I knew why they were trying to salvage some information from me.
Yeah.
Or it's because I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I had some processes, but explaining them kind of ruined them. And if I had to explain them, I would have to find some other ones.
Well, it's like it took me a while, even like open mic wise, to really break down and like remember that open mics are just a gym. It's just a place to try out and have fun. Don't take it too seriously. And there's so many people that are like, I got to go out there and put my best 5 minutes together and do this open mic, and I got to have all these strings about it. And like, no, like just go. It's a gym. Work on it. And, you know, like, and then there's also the counterbalance of you have people like judging you if you weren't like 100% great at an open mic. Like, it's something like held to some impossible standard. I'm like, well, I'm trying new shit out. It's testing the waters. It's, you know, working stuff out. You got to have that safe space so much where you can try to see what works and what doesn't.
Have you ever tried some stuff, testing the waters, and been unpleasantly surprised?
Yeah. Hell, 2 weeks ago, I went to the Looney Bin and did a contest. And so a little bit of backstory. 15 years ago, I tried stand-up. And I did 2 stand-up performances at open mic at a Looney Bin in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the second one I went to, they said I was banned. The open mic host at the time said that I told a joke that was offensive and that they didn't like it, and I was banned from comedy.
And happens. Like,
it happens.
It happens.
I found out years later it was him personally. It wasn't actually the Looney Bin. They didn't even know who I was, and so it was a lot of just drama. But I gave up for almost 14, 15 years. I gave up comedy because I was the only place in town for a long time.
For 15 years.
Yeah, because like I was 20 at the time. I thought I was banned, and I was like, okay, there's no other place. I just gave up, and it stopped me. And so I came back like 14, 15 years later, post divorces, post paying off my house and my car and everything. I was like, I gotta build something. Because if I'm gonna go back into comedy, because I still have this itch, I don't want anybody to take it away from me. So that's what kind of built this. Is I built the podcast studio, I built UnloadingMeat as a brand, and then I went back into stand-up, and I was like, okay, if something happens, they can't take it away from me now. Like, I have a foundation, I have a base, and you can't say shit to me because I have this. And that's what I've gone from since last year. And now I'm to the point where it's like it's almost symbiotic. I don't think I could take the podcasting away from my stand-up and vice versa, because there's things that like will conversationally work better here, and it'll be like a funny story I'm telling you, whereas it doesn't really come across in 5 minutes on a stage. Or there's something I tried on stage that honestly worked out great because it started as a conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, that can also be a creative outlet.
Yeah,
a creative source.
Yeah. And so I just try to stay open to it all, and I just, you know, constantly writing. And if I see something that's like funny on the podcast, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna try that out on stage.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that. Yeah. That's exactly how I made my first song that was on the radio. It was through or my first radio-like songs. Yeah, it was like that. It was after talking for hours and filming 2 episodes of podcast in studio. Then I went back and realized I had too much coffee, because I drink a lot of coffee during the interviews. And then I just couldn't sleep, and it was 11 p.m. So I started making music, and I went to bed at 6 a.m. thinking, okay, I'm pretty tired, but I got the song so far that I was able to, you know, make something very radio friendly with it, very producible, very commercializable. So and then the process that happened another time also with another song that while I was streaming on Twitch, I played for hours, and then someone asked me to make a song about pineapples or something, and I made it, and it was a very folky, poppy song, and I realized, okay, I'm gonna stop the stream because I'm very inspired with this, and I need to record it right now. So I raided someone, and then I just didn't sleep that night also, and made that song about pineapples. And the next summer, I managed to get it on the radio, and that was like my first big professional break, let's say.
That's awesome, man.
And it's yeah, it was great. And it was that goes with, I was saying that because it went with what you said. It was just like something sideline, the podcast and the Twitch. It wasn't really the thing that I do, but it created the thing that I do now.
Yeah. It was almost like you worked it out. Like you used that space to work out the idea or something like that, and then you were ready.
Yeah, it wasn't a gym. It was more of a not a factory. It was my art studio.
Yeah.
It was like where I painted, sort of, and I managed to find the right colors.
Yeah.
And after 600 hours of stream, but it worked out. It worked out. So yeah, I'm really happy with all these B, C, D projects that whenever an artist does, because it's only going to make their art better.
That's the way I feel. Like people are like, I've had, I have peers from everywhere. I have different friends stuff like that I talk to because I like to bounce ideas off of stuff. I'm writing a movie script right now. I'm doing different things. Like I have different like projects, like you said, and people are like, well, what about your stand-up? Why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, why don't you have like, this out? And I'm like, well, I'm still being creative. I right now my mind's in like 5 different places. And like like Tuesday, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on my script. Wednesday, I'm gonna work on the podcast. Thursday, I'm gonna work on this. And I'm kind of doing that by the days to kind of just make myself not go nuts because I have so many ideas bouncing off the walls right now. And like, that's the thing I've found with a lot of creatives is we're not just creative in one thing. Like usually our brains work because we're like, okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. Well, let me create my version of that. And that's kind of what happens a lot of times. We get inspired. And we're seeing inspiration from different things and different, all the time. And sometimes we just have to act on that. And maybe it may not be in the lane that we're, quote unquote, popular in or famous in yet. We could always be like Jennifer Lopez and be an actress and a singer. I always want to be Jenny from the block. Okay.
Yeah. You can be Jared from the Tulsa block.
Yeah. With the Oklahoma Poutine hamburger.
Oh yeah. Right. You want that. You want to be the face of the hamburger poutine.
I got so much. You are a content curator.
I try, man. It's called growing. I mean, you can tell it's called growing up in the middle of nowhere with pop culture.
Well, Tulsa. Yeah. Is Tulsa in the middle of nowhere? By the way, I had a great time in Tulsa.
I love Tulsa. I like Tulsa. Like honestly,
I didn't say it while we were on air, so yeah. I'm gonna say it while we're on air. It's awesome. Tulsa is awesome. Thanks to all the comedians that are there that make it happen.
Well, dude, like great. Tulsa has a great scene. It's kind of why I wanted to do this because, like, I'm sure like you've seen Austin, Texas, kind of pop up in the last couple of years. Like it's like Austin City Limits and South by Southwest. Like it's booming. It's getting bigger and it's becoming a bigger thing in the U.S. I kind of feel like Tulsa in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be like a miniature Austin. Like it's on that pulse where like it's growing. There's a lot of comedy scene here. There's a lot of musicians. There's a lot of talent in this pool. And we're starting to get to the point where we're getting actual big names coming to Tulsa. And there's a lot of like films and TV shows that are being filmed in Oklahoma now because we have great tax write-offs. So a lot of big budget movies and TV shows are filming in Oklahoma right now. And so it's kind of like we're on the pulse of like something's about to happen here. It's about to blow up.
Nice.
So like I really wanted to build this. Like I noticed that last year. Like when I started building UnloadingMeat, I was like, there's some people coming in here because what did it for me was, do you know who Bobby Lee is?
No.
There's a comedian named Bobby Lee. He was from Mad TV. He'll be in the there's a movie coming out called Borderlands. It's based on the video game.
Okay.
He'll be in it. He's an Asian comedian. You might recognize him if you saw his face.
Okay.
But he does a podcast called Tiger Belly, and he's also in a TV show called Reservation Dogs, which is filmed in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And he had the director of the Reservation Dogs show on the podcast, and they were just talking about how like they're in Tulsa and they're just filming, having a good time. And at night, Bobby's just riding one of those electric scooters downtown Tulsa, and he's going to open mics and just seeing who's there. And I was like, he's in my town and he's just doing this? Like they're already in Tulsa. Like, and I was like, okay, I got to build something because my dream is to like talk to these people. I want to
Yeah.
have them on the couch. I want to have them on the conversation.
Yeah,
And so I started building this.
It's a good vision. It's a good vision because in the end, you'll have your own thing. You'll be independent, and if it's a consistency game. It's a consistent game. You just got to keep every weekly.
You hit the nail on the head.
Keep it good, content wise, but it's mainly a consistency game. And after that, after a while, maybe 3 years, 4 years, maybe you'll have your own sustainable thing, independent thing, and you'll be laughing so hard because everybody will want to have what you built.
And that's the way I look at it, is like, I'm not looking to get famous or like get rich or anything like that. I'm looking to be sustainable. But also, all it needs is just one video to hit and hit the algorithm, and then the back catalog is worth something.
Yeah.
Because let's say I'm 150 episodes in and one video goes viral, then somebody's gonna be like, okay, well, who's this Oli Page guy? Who's this person? Who's this person? Who's this person? And all of a sudden they're watching my entire catalog and they all go up in views. And that's all it takes.
Yeah. All you got to do is make Elon Musk smoke a joint.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
Pretty much, metaphorically.
Which, I mean, at the time of recording, have you heard of, do you play Fortnite, or are you a gamer guy?
And I play old games like Pokemon, or Skyrim, the first one.
Okay.
Well, but I know what Fortnite is.
Well, they announced this week at the time of recording that Fortnite is putting the Tesla Cybertruck in the game for free. And for free, you have to like do some missions, but you can basically get it for free if you work on it. And pretty much the entire community has kind of I want to say resisted this, but they've kind of boycotted it in a way of basically they've announced that anybody caught driving the Cybertruck in a Fortnite game is immediately going to get killed. Like there's an open warrant, open hit on anybody that drives a Cybertruck in Fortnite right now. Because people are like, fuck Elon Musk, fuck that douchebag. If you get caught driving that piece of shit truck, we're going to destroy you. And that's what's going on in Fortnite right now.
I have no idea if that opinion is valid, and it should be. I don't think I'm advocating that at all. I just think it's awesome that it's happening.
Yeah, it is. Because like the way Fortnite works with cars is like you pick your skin, and so as soon as you like jump into a car in a game, it turns into whatever skin you picked. So basically, if you're driving around a Cybertruck, you're choosing to make every car that you drive a Cybertruck. So basically, the game, all the players are like, "Fuck that guy." And that's what's going on in Fortnite right now.
Well, thanks for the update. I realized that the real world is actually just like Fortnite. Everybody says fuck the Cybertruck, but in both realms.
Oh, it's a big thing. They're like, you go to like the Tulsa on Reddit, and people are like, I saw a Cybertruck. That guy's a piece of shit. It's like, well, that just escalated quickly. Like, you didn't even talk to him or nothing.
It's crazy how an electric truck became the new Hummer.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
I think it just like it crossed that threshold of impracticality, and it goes into douche. Like basically, just like it's so impractical looking almost, and for the price tag, the people are like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah.
Like it just
No, you're not gonna get me.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by the makers of the action figures behind me, such as Hasbro, Jazzwares, or even NECA. You may be thinking that they target, kids, but really, their key demographic, fat asses like me. If you want me to afford more of this, awesome set design, make sure to reach out to your favorite sponsors and tell them to sponsor this fat ass. Now, back to the show.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
So I'm thinking before we end this tonight, before we end this podcast, we need to have one more song, and it needs to be about the Oklahoma Poutine hamburger.
It needs to be about the Oklahoma Poutine hamburger. Okay.
It's called the Murphy's Hot Hamburger.
Yeah, sure. Let's do one more hit.
Ooh.
On the hamburger poutine.
Yeah.
Sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese. Are the levels okay? With the gravy.
Sounds good.
Potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes, the cheese and the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and
I really feel like it's missing one thing. I really feel like it's missing one thing. I really feel like this pudding is missing one little thing. I really think I really think it's just missing a little tiny thing. I'm an American, I wanna make my own poutine. I think I'm gonna add a little hamburger in the poutine. I'm gonna put the gravy in the poutine, the hamburger in the poutine, and dropping in the hamburger with the poutine. I'm dropping in the hamburger with the poutine. I'm dropping hamburgers in the poutine. I'm gonna drop an hamburger in the poutine. I'm gonna drop an hamburger in the poutine. I'm gonna drop an hamburger in the poutine. You can do it. Add some beef in your poutine. Add some beef in the poutine. Add some beef in the poutine. Add some beef in the poutine. Yeah, I'm gonna add some beef in your poutine. Yeah, I'm gonna add some white cheese on the poutine. Gonna drop a slider in your poutine. Slide that burger in my poutine. Just slide that burger in my poutine. Just slide that sweaty burger in my poutine. Like Harold and Kumar, I'm gonna ride to White Castle to get an hamburger poutine. Sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the
Power
gravy and the
Rangers, we can
potatoes and
do
cheese
it.
in the sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese
With
in
the
the sauce with
Power
the gravy and
Ranger,
the
we can
potatoes and
do
cheese in the
this.
sauce with the gravy and the potatoes and cheese in the sauce with the gravy.
Tell me when you're ready. Power Ranger, are you ready? Say it.
Power Rangers!
Power Rangers, assemble! Cause we need to make that poutine happen right now. I need some sauce in that poutine. Can the white Power Ranger give me that? No. Can the yellow Power Ranger give me that? I don't think so. Can they pick neither the green? Who can give me that? White Castle, give me the no, wait, not White Castle. What's the name of your neighborhood again?
What's the name of your neighborhood again?
Bartlesville?
Bartlesville.
Give me some Bartlesville poutine. Oh! Bartlesville poutine. I want some Bartlesville poutine in my mouth right now. Give me hamburgers in my poutine. I'm in Bartlesville. I want some poutine and some hamburgers at the same time. I'm a busy guy. I don't got no time to eat 2 meals. I want everything I want. I want some hamburgers, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That was great, man. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome.
To all my peeps at Bartlesville.
That was awesome, man. Thank you for that.
No. Thank you. That was fun. It gave me some juice, and now I feel
Oli-
creative.
Oli Page, man, the floor is yours. Where can everybody find you, and if they want to book you or see more of Oli Page?
If they want to find me, my Instagram is Oli Page Live, and such is the same for my website and my TikTok and whatever you want to find me at. Except Spotify, it's my artist name, which is Oli Page, in
Oli
one
Page.
word.
Oli Page, not to be confused with Elliot Page. Okay, we found Elliot
Yeah.
Page earlier. Oli Page, way more popular. Okay, you're
And
on to something,
way
man.
more good looking.
That's true.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, you know, the truth, you know, so might as well say it. And yeah, so and if you want to book me, I'm a well-traveled person, and I just got back. This winter I did a festival in Banff, and it
Ooh.
was no issue. I just went there, I did the festival, and came back. So I can move around, and I have a valid passport. Just saying.
There you
if
go.
you were worried.
Well, just so you know, man, I'm holding you to it. I'm gonna eventually get my way up to Montreal, man, and we're gonna go up there and we're gonna hang out. Okay, I want to be a guest on your podcast when you come back. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yes. Okay. So that's a tangible objective. I
There we
will
go.
get everything in order. And when you come, it's going to be a great time.
Dude, I'm gonna hold you to it, man. That sounds great. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna shit on Tim Hortons in person.
Woo! We're
Well,
going to
dude-
yell at some minimum wage employees. Tell them, my cough is cold. Do something.
You should be more like McDonald's.
Yes.
Well, dude, thank you so much for doing this, especially all the way from Montreal, man. It was a genuine pleasure meeting you back in November, working with you just a little bit at RampGiving and RampJam. And man, you're a genuine delight to have on the show. And anytime you're welcome back, okay?
All right. I'll anytime. You know what? Anytime, man, Jared. I love doing this. Thank you for doing it. Are we still on air? We're
We're
still,
still on
like-
air. We're still on air.
Okay, we're still on air. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Unloading Some Meat. Unloading Meat, okay? Because it's dope. And don't forget to go see some comedy if you're in Tulsa. They are very good. They're solid, and they need some laughs to keep going. So go give them.
And if you're in Montreal, check out Oli Page and all the amazing talent that's coming out of Montreal right now. I think you guys are doing something special up there. And man, it's just been great connecting with you again.
Same to you, my dude.
Guys, this has been Unloading Meat. I am Jared Ralphie Allen. He's Oli Page. Peace.
Peace.
Unloading the meat, 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 unloading the meat. I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye, have a great time.